get started and ship early and often. I think one of the lessons we learned from when one of our users posted us on Hacker News was, everyone knows that you should ship early, and we thought we were shipping early, but you can always ship earlier. I think was the lesson that we learned. So I think ship as early as you can. Don't be don't be too precious about your code or your current solutions, because you can just improve it as you go. I think it doesn't need to be perfect from the start. I think every feature we ship, we just try and get it shipped as quickly as possible, and then we add polish as we go. I think that's totally fine. Yeah, well, I think that's the the great thing about having a great co-founder and also a great team around you, is that when you have off days, you are reliant on the other people to pick up the slack, and vice versa. That helps a lot. Um, but the one trick that I found works for me personally is to have a few different potential projects that you could be working on, and know that if you don't have to be working on the top priority project all the time. If you feel like doing something a little bit more creative, um, then that's totally fine. You can drop down and work on something, from the backlog that just makes you feel good. Um, so for me, that can be, building a demo application, or even just filming a short 5 minute tutorial video. Um, really like helps me feel creative, and then rejuvenated to go back and work on the real tough coding tasks, or admin tasks that you might have to do. Wow. Yeah, I think I read quite a lot of applications and give feedback, and I think the things that stand out the most are people are usually too modest. Um, so I tell people to be more American, and to really own your achievements and be bold about the things that you've done in the past, and don't use too much hedging language. Don't say, oh, at some point we're going to do this, this, and this. Just use assertive language, and say, this is what we've done, this is where we're going. Nothing's going to stand in our way. That kind of approach, because the companies you're competing with will do this. So you kind of have to, and it's hard for me to say because I'm British, and we're supposed to be very self-deprecating and quite modest, but I've had to learn to be a bit more bold and proud about the things we've achieved. The other things are, um, I think, write a lot about um, your previous execution and what you've achieved so far. It's easy to write about what you're going to do in the future, but I think what the interviewers like to see, even if it's small, even if it's, we've onboarded our first 3 users, here's how we did it, here's what we learned, is a lot more insightful than saying, here's how we're going to get the next, 10, 20,000 users. And on that similar thread, um, be proud about your traction, even if it's small numbers like this. Um, Again, 3 highly engaged users is a much stronger signal than 10,000 email signups, or people who are disengaged. So I think it's okay if it's small numbers, but again, own it, talk about what you've learned from those people, because it all counts as traction, and it's what, it's what YC like to see. I think, a lot of people are going to try and raise money. Uh, you don't have to, you can obviously bootstrap, but for those that are going out and they're trying to raise money for their projects, um, I think understand that it's a numbers game. Most people are going to say no, and that's okay. Um, we spoke to tons of people, both for this company and with previous companies. You'll get rejected a lot of times, and it's fine. I think just learn to enjoy the process and appreciate that. If you speak to 500 people, then it's just numbers. Someone's going to eventually say yes. So don't be too disheartened by the whole investor process. It's a lot like job interviews and that kind of thing. And also, again, don't be ashamed to start small. And a lot of people now I see on Twitter building in the open, and I think it's really amazing to see these people, from the very start saying, "Here's my landing page," "Oh, here's my first sign up, here's my second sign up." I think that's a really a nice trend that's happening, so I hope that continues. Yeah, it's difficult. I think with most things, finding the right investors is obviously the trick here. Finding the investors that trust your judgment and believe in you as founders is the most important thing, because you know your company better than anyone else. You know what's going to motivate your team, and just finding the right people who believe in your vision, and being open about it as well. If you've got new ideas about the way the company should be structured and things like this, is discussing it openly from the start is always the best way to go. And if they don't like it, they don't like it, but at least you can voice your opinions and see where it goes. Awesome, man. Good, guys. Good luck on the project. Like I said, I think it's really great what you're doing, and I hope you you know onboard 1 million users. Good, guys. You too. Bye bye. Fuck, that was funny. It was one of these companies from who were applying to get NYC. So they were like, "Oh, can we interview you about getting NYC?" Like, yeah, fine.